From demons to deadly families, here are 5 dark truths that are scarier than fiction. No. 5. The demonic possession of an 8-year-old girl. In 2003, an 8-year-old girl was admitted to London's Great Ormond Street Hospital suffering from terrible stomach pains. As well as these pains, the young girl had also lost weight, stopped speaking, and displayed some pretty terrifying behavior like shaking her head violently and even foaming at the mouth. She was diagnosed with epilepsy and put on medication. But after taking this medication, she started having even more violent seizures. When she was taken back to the hospital, doctors discovered that her brain had swelled up and placed her in a coma. And although she did wake up, she was left with brain damage, meaning that she would never be the same again. Her parents were told to take her home, but just 3 days later, their daughter died. A postmortem revealed that the little girl had been possessed by a demon before passing away. How is it possible for a demon to possess a human? Is there such a thing as demonic possession? Let me know your thoughts. Number 4. The Beast of between 1764 and 1767. A series of brutal killings took place in the French countryside. A werewolf or wolf-like creature was said to have attacked over 600 people, killing nearly 150 of them. In total, there were 115 confirmed attacks by this beast. And although many of the victims were killed in the night, others were attacked during the day, meaning that this creature was active both day and night. Most of the attacks took place between April and June, leading people to believe that the beast was hibernating during the winter months. It seemed that this beast targeted women and children most often. They would be found dead with their skulls crushed or bitten to pieces. At the time, the locals believed that this was the work of a werewolf. But now, experts say that it may have actually been the work of an insane man who enjoyed eating the flesh of his victims. It was reported that this man had a taste for blood and guts, which could explain why so many people were mutilated. What do you think really happened in all those years ago? Let me know in the comments below. If you're loving this video, please make sure to show your support. No. 3. Mary Bell. Mary Bell was born in 1957 in Newcastle, England. And from a very young age, she displayed disturbing behavior. For example, she would tell her mom that she wanted to be a famous murderess. This obviously didn't bode well. And when she was just 10 years old, she was sent to a youth detention center after killing a 2-year-old child. She strangled this child with a nylon stocking and then hit her over the head with a brick. She did this after seeing an episode of the TV show This Is Your Life and becoming obsessed with one of the guests on the show. After being sentenced to detention, she wrote a letter to her mother saying, "I am very sorry for what I did, but I have done it to get myself famous." She was released in 1973, but as soon as she was free, she committed more crimes, this time with a man she met in prison. Together they kidnapped, tortured, and then murdered 2 more victims. She was given 2 life sentences and was not allowed to see her son until he was 22 years old. Now known as Norma Bell, she was released in 1980 and has since written 2 books about her crimes. No. 2. The Murderous Family Next Door. For 10 long years, Jeffrey Dahmer lived next door to his neighbor in Milwaukee. And in that decade, he turned out to date, kill, and dismember 17 men. He would lure these men back to his apartment, where he would drug them, strangle them, and then preserve their bodies. It was only when he was finally caught that his neighbor realized what he had been up to all of this time. His neighbor had no idea any of this was going on, because Jeffrey was good at keeping things quiet. However, there were some strange sounds coming from his apartment, like screams and moans. But he would always come up with excuses to explain these sounds. For example, he would say that he had a sick raccoon, or that he was watching a horror movie. His neighbor never suspected that it was him making these noises, and not some kind of wild animal. Now, if you knew your neighbor kept screaming and making weird noises, what would you do? Would you investigate, or would you just assume that everything was fine? Let me know in the comments below. And no. 1. The Texas Killing Fields. The Texas Killing Fields refers to a remote area of land, where over 30 bodies have been dumped over the last 50 years. The first body was found back in 1970, and since then, 19 sets of remains have been found in this desolate landscape. Many of the victims were young women who had been strangled or stabbed, and many of these women were prostitutes. Although police were able to identify some of the victims, Others remain a mystery. One of the most frustrating things about this case is that we don't know whether all of the victims were killed in the same place, or whether they were brought here after they were murdered elsewhere. If you ask me, I think that they were all killed here, and that this was some kind of ritual site for a serial killer or killers. Some of the bodies were found within close proximity to each other, suggesting that whoever killed these people did so on the same day. Whoever is responsible for these killings has never been caught, and the whole thing will forever be known as one of America's most bizarre mysteries. Thank you for watching. Do you know any more scary stories that are true? Write them in the comments below, and I might feature them in a future video. Anyway, if you enjoyed this one, please show your support. Make sure to stay tuned.